a pleasure to host two of our Spanish colleagues from the Institute of Marine Research in Barcelona, in Spain. They're here as part of, we have sister projects that we're running. Ellie is coordinating a Mission Ocean European project called Pro Bleu, which works specifically with students and schools. We are coordinating a project called OTTERS, which is about citizen science, and there's a lot of overlap. So we're in collaboration, and today's workshop is also sponsored by the Spanish Embassy, which facilitated their travel to Armenia. So what we will do today, we have two sessions, one after the other. First, we're meeting with teachers and educators and citizen science practitioners to understand how a lot of this could be implemented in schools. Ellie will also give us an overview about some opportunities and funds that schools could get to run such projects, to finance them. And then the second part of this workshop, we will do an interactive session with SWOT analysis and how we see, or how you think, a lot of these types of projects could be integrated into the courses and curricula that we teach. After this session is over, we'll have some students, both from the British school and from the Cambridge International schools. We've asked some of them already to think about projects, and I know in the British school you've already gone through this process. Projects that they think they could, or they want to have in their schools, and then together we'll bring them on board. They can share their ideas, we can discuss pros and cons, and maybe we can develop some of these ideas with them, potentially for later this year or maybe next year as well. More ideas can come about, and we want to see also different ideas coming from different schools and how they can be combined on a national level. So without wasting too much time, Ellie Bonfi.
It means good son.
Good son.
In Spanish, in Catalan.
So she's, like I said, the coordinator of Pro Bleu, and I'll give the floor to her to introduce some of the work they're doing.
Thank you, Okay, so I don't know how familiar you are with citizen science. The idea of citizen science is that everyone can collaborate with citizen science, taking data. It's not necessary to be a scientist, it's not necessary to have a training. Sometimes it just only have the time to collaborate, just taking a picture, just monitoring, sampling something to contribute, taking some data and send it to scientists to use this data to have an idea of what's happening around us. It's very important because with science we cannot take all the data. It's impossible. Scientists are most of the time writing articles or writing projects to get funding, and we need the collaboration of the citizenship because we are all citizens of the same world. We have to contribute. I think it's something that we should do, contribute to improve the world or the ecosystems where we live. And it's a good combination, the data taken by the scientists and the data taken with the people to cover as most space as possible, to take the most data as possible. So in our research group, we develop a platform that is called Minca. This is a Quechua word that means collaboration for the community. And we want to go into the website, this Minca SDG, because we are focusing this website, this platform to the Sustainable Development Goals. And we use it by the moment to monitor biodiversity. We are very focused on marine biodiversity because our research center is in marine sciences, but we have a wide view of this, and we have data of land plants or aquatic data. It doesn't matter if it's a sea, a lake, or a river. And we try to address also the Mission Ocean and Waters actions, because we are under the umbrella of the European Union on this mission. And we are working on reporting other kind of data, like temperature of the water, transparency, or some kind of environmental data, but this is not so easy to do as we thought, so we are in the process. We are testing this part. The idea is that when you collaborate with these kind of platforms, you help scientists, but also you receive a feedback. And while you collaborate, you learn. Because sometimes you upload a picture of something that you don't know what it is, and you have the feedback of the scientists, and you learn in this process. And then you can share it with the community around the world. So it's a two-way direction of knowledge. Now, with the moment in Minka, we have 11,000 people collaborating, volunteers, different ages. Most of them are adults, because to upload data you should be over 18 years old. But there are schools collaborating, and what they do is to create a classroom user, and they upload the data with this user automatically. We are working on this process on creating a kind of users for students under the supervision of a teacher to be ready to work more with the schools. So this is a process. Now we have around 400,000 observations and 280 different projects in the platform. And we have a website, but we also have an app. So if you go to the field, you can use the app that is in the Google Play or in the App Store. And we have it in 10 different languages. Armenian is not in one of the options by the moment, but you can collaborate with us translating it. We have developed a guide to translate it into different languages using a platform that is called Crowding. It's very easy because the platform using an artificial intelligence recommends you the translation, and you just have to check and say, okay, this is correct, or no, this is not right, you should write it like this. So it's not like writing every word by yourself, just in an easy way. So if you want to translate it to Armenian, we are looking for your collaboration on this. How it was, Minka? The idea is that you register your observations, you upload it to the website, you share it with the community, but you can speak. It's just not only share the data and that's all. You can comment other people's observations. You can talk with the scientists and other users. So the idea is that there is a dialogue in the platform, not just with the data and that's all. Because if not, people is not motivated. People get engaged when there's a feedback, when there's a conversation. So when you go to the field, you go to Lake Sevan, you take a picture of a plant, of a fish, of an insect, you upload it to Minka. It's very important that you have the geolocalization and the date. And with this and the picture, you upload it to the platform. If you know what it is, you can identify and say, yes, it's this is the name of the species. If you don't know what it is, you can ask it to the community, you can ask for help, and there's always somebody that is a freak and knows what it is. So sometimes you get an answer very fast, and sometimes in 5 minutes you get an answer, sometimes it takes 1 day, 2 days, depending on the difficulty of the species, but in general it's very fast. And when the observation, the picture is identified, now there is a process of validation. We have a data curator, a person who is fully dedicated, thank you, to validating the data. But also we have experts in the community, people that some of them start as volunteers, uploading data with no knowledge, just uploading, and that they get bit by bit more knowledge, so they get the experts. And when two or three of the community, two third parts of the community have validated this data, this obtains what we call research grade, and this data go to global repositories. So scientists can download it, but also schools. For example, a student that wants to do a project, a school project, analyzing data, they can download the data and use it. Sometimes students want to do something related to a river or to the sea and they are not near to, or they don't have the possibility to go to take the data. So they can analyze this data taken by other people. And also, we are working on the process of how to do the citation of the authors of the picture, because it's not your data, you analyze it, but you have to take it. We are working on this process, how to say who has taken this picture, and how to recognize the people who is volunteering with these observations. So for schools, you have different options. You can, for example, build your own instruments, your own devices. There are a lot of options of build yourself instruments. So you can develop it. You can observe, you can take it, go to field the pictures and sample the temperature. And also you can analyze this data as a problem. We have a program that is called Curricula. We have developed it just to analyze the data. So we can train them how to use this program to use data. Or you can be multi-language, you can organize events around, for example, a bio-beat or a bio-marathon, some kind of events where not only the school, but you can involve the families around the school to sample, for example, a bio-beat Saturday or Sunday with families to a river near to you, to a lake, to sample the biodiversity of this area. So it's a way to involve the whole community. It's cheap.
Everyone familiar with the concept of the BioBlitz, what it is? It's like a competition type of, it's not, kind of competition.
Kind of.
You have 24 hours or a week, some specific time, and everybody is basically instructed to go out and identify or take as many
take
pictures
the most pictures as you can.
species. And then at the end of the 24 hours or 1 week, you have like a leaderboard chart. This person has 243 identified species, etc., etc.
So it's a good way of taking a lot of data.
In a short time.
Yeah. And make people aware of the highest biodiversity that they have around them that maybe they didn't know. Because sometimes you say, well, here there's not a lot of biodiversity. And when you do this kind of events, people say, okay, there's more than I expected. This is bigger.
I think, for instance, with schools, there's a good potential if several schools come together, 4 or 5, and have a BioBlitz, and then see which school wins the competition at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, and at the end, when the students say, who has won? Everybody, because we have learned a lot. Or you can involve a company to give a prize, for example, some local company that can get some prizes for the winners. Everybody gets more engaged. This is a good way to go out of the school. Not only involve your students, also the community. Because sometimes maybe students are more conscious of what they have around because they talk about it in school, but sometimes their parents or their grandparents are not conscious. So it's a good way to use young people, children, to get the adults. And in Minka, you can create your own project, your own school project. For example, this is an example of a school in Barcelona. It's called Guaramar. They have been funded by ProBlue, by the project where I work on. And this is a twinning project with a school in Croatia. And they are taking pictures of marine biodiversity, doing a snorkeling with the mask and the tube. And then they will compare in which place there's more biodiversity. And they create their own project in Minka. It's called Like My City. So all the observations that they upload, they have their own page where you can see a description of the project and how many observations there are, how many species they have seen, how many people is collaborating. And then the analysis is that you have a list of the most observed species. So there are several rankings. The person who observes most, who has uploaded most observations, which species are the most uploaded and the most observed. And if you don't want to create your own school project, you can collaborate with an NGO or a university and create a collective project. For example, this is an environmental center near to Barcelona, where Carlos is. They do several environmental education activities with the schools, and they create their own project that is called the beaches of around this place. And all of the students that go to the activities with them upload their pictures in this project. So we have a map of these beaches. And as we are very motivated, on Monday we went to Lake Sevan and we create a project of Lake Sevan. So we upload some of the pictures that we have taken in the lake, and now you have this project. So if you want to contribute, you have a project created. You just have to create your own picture and upload your pictures here. So maybe you can collaborate with several schools to upload your pictures here. You can create a user for your school or for your class and upload it here. And try to start your list of species around the lake. And we will send you the presentation, so you will have all the links if you want to check out our social media or website. And this is funded by a lot of European projects, because maintaining this kind of platforms is very expensive. And I want to introduce you into the Blue Schools. I don't know if you are familiar. What's a Blue School? Have you heard about it? It's something really new, in fact. But the Blue Schools are schools that try to introduce in their curriculum the ocean and the fresh water, or the water in general, and to raise awareness between the students doing projects related to water. Okay. So there is a network by the moment in Europe that is called the Network of European Blue Schools, that is trying to put all the schools together. And by the moment, there are 406 schools certified as Blue Schools. But most of them are in the Mediterranean basin, as you can see. But this is changing, because every 6 months they open a call to apply to be a Blue School. It's a free call. So if in your school you are doing some project, for example, the projects that you explained to us, these schools can apply to be a Blue School. Because the idea is that you apply with the past project, something that you did the last course, or something that you are doing now. Okay.
So is it the only criteria?
No. This is the first criteria. And now I will show you the other criteria. You can apply twice per year. One is around the middle of January. This changes every time because depends on the European Union, because this could manage the platform. But more or less in January, we will open the call until the end of May. And there's another call at the end of the year, from October to December. And to be a Blue School, a certified Blue School, you have to fill 5 compulsory criteria. Are really easy because there are kind of things that schools do. The first one is that the project does interlinked activities. For example, sometimes there is a teacher working something in his subject. Another thing in another subject, but they are not interlinked, they are not working together. So the idea is that you try to do a list of what are you doing in the school related to the sea, to the water, and try to look like a title for the project, and try to link all the activities you are doing. The second one is that you have to produce a clear output. For example, to create an exhibition, a film, I don't know, some leaflet, something that shows what we have done in the project, product at the end of the project. The third one is that you involve all students. That doesn't mean that you have to involve the whole schools, but if you work with a classroom, all the students of the classroom. It doesn't work to take, we have taken the 5 most clever students and we work with them. No, we should involve the whole classroom, not leave everybody outside. And the fourth is that you should collaborate with a local partner, so it's easy. You have both institutions, so it's easy. And the last one is that you should communicate your results in the social media of the school, in a local newspaper or radio, in a blog, a website, it doesn't matter, someplace. First,
I think there are corresponding to all this.
I think it's quite easy. You know? General schools do all these things. It's just to look for how to put it in the right way. And then there are some optional criteria that you can fill, but these are the most important ones. But always thinking of the project has to be done the past year or in process that started in September and into process. Because sometimes some of the projects are rejected because people sense something that they will do in the next year. And if you have this criteria, you will receive a certification. And this is new from this last month. There are 3 kinds of certification depending on how involved you are. If your project is less than 2 years, you are a blue school. If the project lasts between 3 to 5 years, you are an aquamarine blue school. If it's more than 5 years, ultramarine blue school. It doesn't matter because it's the same. You are a blue school. This is things that Europe wants to create. In Armenia, there is one school, one blue school in Ashtarak. I don't know. But we want more pins in this map. So I hope today you engage on this idea and you try to apply to the blue schools because it's quite easy. And if you need inspiration, you have several resources. This is the network of European Blue Schools website. You have a handbook for teachers with examples of projects, a lot of ideas, because sometimes you don't need to create new ideas, new projects. You just have to look for ideas that are working and replicate it. That's all. We don't have to create new things every time and try to invent things. If there are things that are working on some schools, we can replicate it and try it in our school, and then we can compare data, for example, and results. And also, in the UNESCO Ocean Literacy website, there are also several toolkits and books that are also interesting and can inspire you. This is important now because in the world, the movement of the blue schools is increasing. It's something that is getting bit by bit more important. The UNESCO is very focused on this, so we have to be attentive. Now, most of the blue schools are in the western part of this map. But what our UNESCO are looking for is for national coordinations in different countries. For example, Armenia has no national coordination, so if some of the Armenian institutions want to coordinate a national network of blue schools, now there is opportunity. It should be not a school, it should be an institution, a research center or a university or an NGO, somebody with little bit of structure or resources, because by the moment there's no money for this, it's a volunteer work. But I think it's a good moment because they are creating global criteria to be a blue school, so we have a common minimum criteria in the different countries. They are creating a repository of people and resources about this topic. They are creating a map with all the blue schools worldwide, so you can connect with the schools all over the world if you want to think on a bigger project than yours. And also there is a teacher training for free in this website. This is the Ocean Teacher Global Academy. So it's a good opportunity to have a lot of resources, free resources. By the moment, there are more than 1,200 schools involved all over the world. I think it's a good opportunity to connect with other schools and have this worldwide mission. And good news, we have funding for these ideas. There are 3 sister projects related to the schools funded by the European Union. This is where I work, the group. Very sure that it's communicated by University of Turkey, and we like that it's communicated by Company in France. And now there are a lot of free resources next to this project that are focused for schools and for teachers. And in ProBlue, we have a lot of resources for you. We have created a guide to apply to be a blue school. So if you want to be a blue school, you can send me an email and I can help you with the process of applying to be a blue school. We have a YouTube channel with several videos of scientists in the field explaining what they do, so students can see how is the scientists work in the field. This can motivate them. We have created a new catalog of teaching aids. It's new because we launched it at the end of November, so it's really renewed. In this catalog, you will find a lot of resources for free, and you will find the slides, the fact sheets, all the material ready to use for teachers. Okay. So you just only have to translate it because now it's in 24 official languages of the European Union. It's not in Armenian, I think, but you can download the slides and just translate it. So it's ready to use easily for teachers. And also, if you create your educational materials, you can upload it to this website and share it with other teachers. So this is nice, because sometimes you create a good material and you say, I would like more people will use it. No? So you can upload it here. And we are giving funding. We have 4 calls for funding. We have just ended the 3rd call for funding, but now in March we will open our 4th call for funding, and you can apply for this money. Okay. Who can apply? Primary schools, secondary schools, and vocational schools that have legal entities. Okay. Because we asked you to demonstrate that you're a legal entity. And what we did in the 3rd call is to divide the money depending on the countries. For example, the Group A had more possibilities of being funded because we decided that we would fund between 14 to 18 different projects. Because in these countries there are no blue schools, or like in Armenia, one blue school only, and that they have never been funded by ProBlue. And Spain, for example, is in the opposite, because we have a lot of blue schools and we have a lot of schools funded by ProBlue in the 1st school. So I imagine that Armenia will stay in the 1st group. And it's very easy to apply. There is a website, an online form, and then you don't have to think on the structure of the project. You have a description form that you have to fill in English, but it's not necessary to have a good level of English. You can write it in Armenian and translate it with the Google Translator. Or people, we don't look for good translations, we really look for good projects.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, yeah, because what's more important for us is the project, not the level of English that we have. And our call will open in